You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle. Hey guys, Jim Chester here. I have Jason Strothide over there. He is down in Clearwater Beach, Florida, and I am in Grand Junction, which is in the Grand Valley on the western slope of Colorado. And I moved out here to hear the birds chirp. And I'm sure you're down there because you wanted to see the sunshine.
Absolutely. Get away from the snow.
Well, before we dive into this interview with you today on Chiro Thin, I'm going to flash your website up here on the bottom of the screen, which is chirothin.com, and the logo is floating over my shoulder there. You guys can see it. Chiro Thin is a doctor supported weight loss system, and you just had a big event down in Clearwater. How long ago? Like 2 months now?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Time just totally flies. But yeah, it was the I think the second to last weekend in September.
Cool. So now we're rolling into Thanksgiving part of the year,
Right.
November, and I know that's a big topic of discussion that we'll talk about today is transitioning from what we call load days to actually doing the Chiro Thin program.
Right.
But let's talk a little bit about that event that you had down there in Clearwater, and why did you bring all of the people that were running Chiro Thin clinics together?
But Jim, when one of the things is like in practice, we all sometimes get so very isolated doing practice life, doing personal life. And I think there's a lot of power when you bring like-minded people together. It's just to me, that's what it's all about. And, having graduated from Logan in 93, one of the things that I experienced and that a lot of other chiropractors have experienced is a lot of these seminars that you go to, they've evolved over the years. And instead of really being about helping other chiropractors, a lot of them kind of turned into giant sales pitches. And when I started Chiro Thin, one of my things was I said, everything that I experienced in practice that I hated, I'm going to do the exact opposite. And one of those things was I hated going to seminars for a group that I already belonged to. And then it just turned into this giant pitch fest and always trying to be sold and upsold this. So I really wanted to put together, and this was our second annual Chiro Thin Forum. I wanted to put it together, man, just have the Chiro Thin family get together, have a great environment, have a great time, let everybody share, and really just further that family relationship that so many of our offices have with the other offices. It's always great to be able to be with 100, 150 other offices that are all doing the same thing. We're all fighting the same fight. And man, when you can lock arms, you can info share, you inspire each other, you motivate each other. And that's why we do it, just to build that community and let everybody know that you've got all these offices out there. We're all willing to help each other.
The thing I liked most about being down there is I did feel like this synergy of a family event, but I also felt like the other edge of it was a mastermind. And I felt like there was a lot of people out there that were real excited about new technology that you guys are rolling out with the app. There's a lot of the awards that were given out for people that were excelling in the program. But I do know that you have almost 1,000 practices. How did you get there, and how is this becoming effective in the chiropractic space?
Jim, I sometimes sit back, I'll be honest with you. I sometimes sit back and scratch my head and go, wow, how did I get to almost 1,000 clinics that use Chiro Thin? So that's actually a really good question. My perspective on it is this. I looked at it and, everybody has their own personal story, right? So the whole etiology of Chiro Thin was, and it's no surprise to anybody that's known me for any period of time, I've struggled with weight for a long time, basically my entire life. And I always tell the story that, when I was a kid, in the Midwest, there was a store called Venture. I don't know if it was in other areas as well.
I had them.
Okay. So I can remember as a kid, man, my mom would take me to Venture to go clothes shopping, right? And I would always go to the Husky section. And as I became an adult, what I realized is husky is actually a code word. And it's a code word that really means fat child. Okay. So, so it's been this struggle. I was a collegiate athlete. I played collegiate hockey. You would have looked at me when I was in the shape of my life and gone, there's no way this guy performs at this level. And man, I had tried different things. I had tried the Jenny Craigs. I tried the Weight Watchers. I did Body for Life. I'd done all of it, and all of it would work. But it worked very short term. And I just kind of figured out I put my knowledge of physiology and chemistry into play, have some friends that were very good formulators. And we created the original ChiroThin formula, which really, it was created for me only. I had no intentions of starting a company around it. And, it was working, and patients were going, oh my gosh, are you healthy? Because I was losing weight so fast. Right. And, I would be like, nah, I'm fine. And they'd be like, oh, well, what's going on? And I would tell them, they're like, oh, well, I want to do it. 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 And I went, wow, this is great. And in my practices, I was always a very aggressive marketer. It was, I was TV, screenings, early stages of social media, print, lead follow-up. I even, like, before the whole lead follow-up thing was popular, I actually had a person that was dedicated. Their full-time job with my staff was doing nothing but calling leads and doing a systematic approach to patient reactivation. So I went, man, there's something to this. And then I really started looking into the industry, the size of the industry. And I went, wow, this industry is huge, even back, at that point, 9 years ago. And the industry hasn't slowed down. And I went, well, if I can put this program together, it will give me a great way to tap into my community to bring more patients into my practice. And, the insurance industry wasn't isn't as bad, 9-10 years ago as it is now. But I thought, man, if I can bring more people in, they're already trained to pay cash, for losing weight. I can add this cash-based service, which is clearly in demand. This is going to be great. And then some of my buddies saw what was going on with my practices, and they're like, hey, can I start doing it? And I thought, man, I just got to start this company. So long story short, that's it. The other thing is there was definitely some divine intervention. So, I always, when I get asked how the company started, I used to do a lot of traveling and speaking. Clinical biomechanics compliance was my bailiwick, and it just got to be too much, man. I was on the road. I was in practice Monday through Thursday. I was on the road Friday, Saturday, Sunday, speaking, back in the practice on Monday. As most people can imagine, with a wife and young kids, that kind of started to have a negative impact. So I quit. I spent every day, man, whether it was 30 seconds or 30 minutes, prayer, meditation, that basically God would give me a way to go back to helping as many people as possible. And for me, that meant outside the walls of my office. I had big practices, but I felt like if I can help even more than that. And one day on my way home from one of my practices, which was about 50 minutes from my house, I'm driving down the road, and literally, Jim, the entire idea for this company. So I had already had buddies of mine going, hey, can I do this? Can I do this? But the entire idea for this company from start to finish was literally downloaded on me in 2 seconds. And if there's anybody watching this that went to Logan and they still remember some of the roads, I was on Interstate 270, and I was going under the Page Avenue overpass, literally when the entire idea for this company was downloaded on me. And so, everything that we do, it's the right thing. It was started for the right reasons. And I think, our customer service is incredible. We've got a great product. It fits perfectly with chiropractic. And doctors see that. It's helping their patients. It's helping them. It's helping their staff. It's giving them access to a larger market than the chiropractic market by itself. And to be very honest with you, it's producing a ton of new chiropractic patients for them and a ton of cash revenue. And I think that word just gets out. And as a result, it just, it's spreading and spreading and spreading.
So great story, man. Thank you for being so open to share some of your struggles and how the divine intervention came to you.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to touch on in that conversation that you had going there was you talked about when you started. How long ago did you start the ChiroThin program?
ChiroThin as a company was started June 10th of 2010.
Okay. So everybody out there that's watching this gives you a lot of hope too. If you do have something that you find that you believe in, that you
Yeah,
can pour your time, attention, and interest into, in a short amount of time, you can make a massive impact too. So I just think it's really cool to shine a spotlight on that. Say thank you for setting a standard to let everybody know if they believe in something big enough, they can achieve what they want to and help a lot of people with
abs-
whatever they come to the market with.
absolutely, Jim. I strongly encourage it. Whether it fits perfectly for within chiropractic or even outside of chiropractic. Man, if you're being prompted to do something and if you got the right reason and aligns with who you are as an individual, and I know, Jim, we're big congruency guys, right? It's got to be congruent. Then,
Hmm.
man, just go for it because it's not going to turn out bad. If it's for the right reasons and it's congruent with your core belief, man, just go for it.
And just like Chirothin, if it works and it's something that you like, tell your buddies about it and they'll help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and I know
Yes.
that I'm going to be doing something pretty cool with your group. It's the Chirothin 10-week weight loss challenge. So
Yes.
I'm going to be starting that, finishing up early January.
Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about the Super Bowl of weight loss and how you're helping prep your almost 1,000 clinics to excel around this time of the year, helping people.
Yeah, so the Super Bowl of weight loss is that January 1st through middle February. It's I always say it's called weight loss season. But if we want to be really honest, and this is something that I always tell all of our doctors, when you look at the surveys that have been done from a market size, and these surveys are always done by Gallup, and how many people want to lose weight on any given day out of the entire year, and how many people are actively trying to lose weight. I always jokingly say there's really no such thing as weight loss season because it's all year long. When you look at 51% of the population wants to lose weight on any given day. But basically, so we kind of take a proactive approach. And with Chirothin, one of the things that we do, Jim, going back there, remember what I said, I wanted everything that I hated, I was going to do the opposite, right? So one of the things that I hated about a lot of the companies that I would deal with, right, whether it was a laser or whatever it was like, oh, we provide you with all the marketing you're ever going to need. And back in the day, they'd give you a disc or a CD, and I'd send it off to my media outlets I advertise with. They're like, well, we can't use this. It's going to be $700 to recreate this ad. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I mean, that's just like not what it's about. You told me. So long story short, we have a professional team of graphic designers. We create all of our print ads, all of our email ad, everything. Basically, we create everything. We own the source files and the source code on it. So if a person's a Chirothin office, part of it is they get a master digital file that contains literally every ad, and we've got it broken down into times of year. So,
Nice.
and it's the source code. So you actually, as a Chirothin office, have access to the EPS files or the Adobe Illustrator files, so that you can now send that off to whatever. If it's somebody running your social campaigns or somebody, if you're doing print media or television or what have you, they have the source code. They don't have to recreate it. All they do is put your info on it, and it's good to go, and they don't charge you. So we provide things like that, but we break it down here. So like right now, the Chirothin office, the focus is basically the campaigns that we're recommending that our offices have been running since the beginning of November, maybe even the last week of October, is meet your weight loss resolution by January 3rd. Okay. So you had talked about like the whole loading and losing.
Hmm.
So yeah, we can get into that, but just as a thumbnail, the first 2 days of our program are called loading days. It's kind of help reset and reestablish a higher metabolism, accomplish some other things that we want to accomplish. And then on day 3, you go into what we call the losing phase of the Chirothin program. So what we're talking about is, somebody's going to be able to come in and they can literally start the Chirothin, the 6-week program on Thanksgiving Day. And they can use Thanksgiving Day as a loading day. They can use the day after Thanksgiving as their second loading day, because it's like, come on, the leftovers of Thanksgiving is actually where it's at. It's not the meal, it's the leftovers. But then 2 days after Thanksgiving, they start the losing phase, and they're going to do that losing phase for 39 days, Jim. And what we know, because we had, and I think I mentioned this when you were at the forum, we actually in early 18 had a 573 participant study performed on the effectiveness of the Chiro program on overweight and obese individuals on weight loss and body size reduction. 573 participants, hired a PhD in I can't remember what it is. It was in the it was in the health sciences field, but he's a PhD to actually do all the number crunching, do the data design, write all of it. So this wasn't something, none of the numbers were done. So basically what we know is come January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd, whenever that 42-day time frame is done, if that person starts loading on 42 days, if they're a woman, they're going to be down somewhere between 22 and 32 pounds on January 1st. Yeah. And as a guy, they're going to be down probably somewhere between, I would say it's realistic to say 30, well, let's go 26 to 40 pounds. So, the study showed that the average female lost, it was like right at 26 pounds in 42 days, and the average man lost 30 pounds. So we can go, as a woman, you're going to lose 20 to 32 pounds in 6 weeks. As a guy, you're going to lose basically, let's just call it 26 to 40. And so, a lot of people, they set that resolution. When you survey the population, how much weight would you like to lose? The number one answer is 20 pounds. So if their New Year's resolution is going to be to lose 20 pounds, they start on Thanksgiving Day. They can check the resolution off on January 1st and immediately have another goal of self-improvement, something else maybe that they want to improve on that now they can now start on January 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. It's just going to make their life even better. So that's focus one. Obviously, as soon as Thanksgiving is over, that campaign and that concept stops. We go full force on basically weight loss season or New Year's resolution season. Then and once again, keep in mind, print ads, social, emails, everything's there.
TV.
And, yeah, it's plug and play for these guys. And then basically, as soon as that's over, we will recommend that they continue running New Year's resolution with it's not too late. And then starting on the second week of February, we have a full campaign that's available to the Chiro offices that is focused around, have you already given up on your weight loss resolution? Because when you look at it from a survey standpoint, the majority of people that give up on their weight loss, they give up on it somewhere between week 3 and week 6. So it's, have you already given up on your weight loss resolution? We can help you. You can lose 20 to 35 pounds by the end of March, which is, in time for a spring break. And when that one wraps up, then we recommend that our doctors kick in the spring break marketing. Are you going, start getting your swimsuit season. So a lot of the offices, we kind of call it, they're going to start doing some of the workshops that we provide. And, they're promoting those as, the slim by spring, slim by summer. And we basically have all of these different things that go all the way throughout the year that are timed with what that current train of mind. We even have I'll give you a crazy example. We found a very effective campaign, which is, we call it your last excuse. And it's the ads are built around the concept of kids going back to school.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Imaging Services, Zinget Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle.
Well, I can't do this because I'm running my kids and we're at a baseball tournament every weekend, or we go boating every weekend, or we do whatever every week. We go camping and I just can't do it. So we have this whole ad campaign that is built around, and the header on the ad is, your last excuse just got on the bus. And underneath of that header is a picture of the back end of a school bus with a child looking out of the window. And so we have these things that basically fit with every time of the year. So you have ready-made marketing that just runs through. So right now the push is meet your weight loss resolution by January 1st or 2nd or 3rd. Sometimes we have 2 different ad concepts for that. They all have, a ton of before and afters, and all of our before and afters that are used in any of our ads are actual patients of ours, and probably half of them are actually chiropractors that have gone through our program. But they're all actual patients, unlike a lot of other companies that are, buying stock photos and stuff like that. So maybe you want the scale. Maybe you're a person that's a little bit more natural. So we got this great picture of a sunrise with a person standing with their arms up. So it's a super comprehensive. So right now it's meet that resolution by New Year's, and then immediately after that is weight loss season 2000, our New Year's resolution season. Then immediately after that is, have you already given up? And we want to give you hope.
I think it's really cool that you understand the metrics and the numbers behind the marketing, and you understand the timeliness of a campaign, and you understand the audience that is receiving the information so they take action on it. So I think it's really cool that you've paid attention to the trends, allowing the people that work with you as a ChiroThin office as to how to approach the structure of a marketing campaign, and you lay that out for them and help them.
Yeah, well, and I think, Jim, honestly, I think that comes from my, 23 years of owning chiropractic practices and being an aggressive marketer. What I put out there in June may not be the best piece of promo that I can put out in December. And to not be cognizant of that is a downfall. Just because something works this time of year doesn't mean it's going to work that time of year. And the other thing, and I think you may remember this at the forum. Do you remember? I actually gave every office that attended. Do you remember this? I actually gave them a printed out 1-year marketing calendar.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Which was like, okay, on this day, this is when you start running this campaign, and I redlined it out. Here's how long you run this campaign for. Here's when you do your spring by summer workshop. Here you do 2 workshops a month. You do one in the evening, and you do one on a Saturday afternoon for the people that work the night shift. And I gave these guys literally a done for you marketing calendar for an entire year that basically everything that was on there is already in that master file. All they have to do is get it, print it, and run with it.
I think it's really cool that you help people and that you have a system that works, and that people that have been using it find it financially a bonus to them as being a practitioner. I know we're coming up on the edge of our time together, but I did want to ask you, why did you decide that it was important to only allow ChiroThin to be run by an actual licensed practitioner?
Goes back to the things that I hated, right? I mean, I hated when, chiropractors, Jim, we're like the test market for so many companies, right? And they build this great following within chiropractic. And then they go, wow, we could make even more money if we sold to acupuncturists, or not to say the exact name, but let's just talk about FioBreeze for a second. Right? And I switched the letters around a little bit so I don't get sued. They made their name in chiropractic offices.
Mm-hmm.
And man, as soon as that company was sold, it was like we built this brand recognition literally on the backs of chiropractors. But they realized they could make even more money. And I'm not opposed to making money. I love making money. But I don't think you should build your brand on the backs of a profession and then basically turn around and in the name of profit start going and making it available through other outlets, but then not having a mechanism in place that kind of takes care of the people that built your brand. I mean, I look at, like, for example, I look at BioFreeze. I can walk into Target and I can buy BioFreeze at Target for less than what I can buy a case of it for as a chiropractor. How does that even work? And the funny thing is, Jim, is that this is about chiropractic. I started ChiroThin chiropractors only because I knew it was going to help chiropractors help more people. I knew it was going to allow them to have something that fit perfectly and is so congruent with the chiropractic paradigm of health, whether a person calls it the 3 T's or the physical, chemical, and emotional stress triangle. but it's going to give them so much access. It fits perfectly, and there's no reason that this doesn't fit perfectly with chiropractors. And really, it was designed to help chiropractors help more people, get more new chiropractic patients, and increase their cash revenue and decrease their dependence on insurance. And what I didn't know was 9 years ago, or 8.5 years ago, when we started this, that the insurance industry was going to go where it was. And there's a lot of guys that are great chiropractors that have had fabulous practices, insurance-based practices for 20, 30 years. Dude, they're struggling.
Well, even now, full circle, right now, chiropractors at record numbers are being disapproved for their ads on Facebook.
Absolutely.
So right now we're seeing the trends change as to oh, heck, this was like working for so long. Now we have to pivot and change our strategies.
Yep.
And I think that was something that was a rude awakening to a lot of chiropractors as they transitioned from realizing that the insurance model wasn't going to support them and keep their practices floating. Now they need to look to other avenues. How do I do marketing? How do I get people into the offices? How do I stay affluent with where I have gotten in practice and flip over into a cash-based model?
Right.
I think that there's a lot of things that we've learned from the trends. And as we jump into the new year together, one of the trends I'm going to do is come into it a little lighter. So,
yes. Roger that. You and me both.
As we go into the Super Bowl of weight loss season, I'm going to personally take on the ChiroThin Challenge and go through the 6 weeks. And I'm going to be checking in over the month of December, wishing everybody a healthy, happy new year as I drop between 26 and 40 pounds. Absolutely. And I'll be keeping track of my what I eat. I'll be keeping track of the whole system that I follow with you guys. And I have Dr. Chris Coughlin's going to be my coach. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to be using your guys' technology and your app that you guys have had developed so people can log in daily, let the system know how they're doing, what kind of, maybe they get snagged up on how they're, any questions, they have access to their coach through that app. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's all real time, and it's all HIPAA certified, HIPAA secure. So none of this. Oh, I'm texting my patients on unsecured methods. And the other thing, Jim, and I do want to throw this out is, for offices that are looking to help break their insurance dependence, or they're looking for ways to draw in more new patients or increase their cash revenue. Like you say how great you are, I'm going to tell you the same thing about my company. I'm the greatest company in the world, right? But one of the things that we're always very cognizant of is the fact that what I think about my company, while it's important, when it comes to chiropractors making the decision as to whether or not they're going to start offering ChiroThin in their practice, what I think about my company really isn't important. What matters is what the chiropractor thinks. So, like you're doing the ChiroThin, you're doing the challenge, all chiropractors, we are exclusively to chiropractors, but all chiropractors, in order for them to go, is ChiroThin the right choice for my practice? Yes or no. We actually let all chiropractors actually test ChiroThin on up to 10 people within their practice before they go, hey, I want to be a ChiroThin office, or I don't want to be a ChiroThin office. And usually what happens is the doctor will get, maybe a kit for themselves or their spouse or both, and a staff member, and then they pick a handful of patients that they're going to test it on. They follow the system. We have methods in place to where we have ways that we can help the doctor or help the chiropractor, help the people through, because we know that they're not versed in it. And basically, at the end of the day, the doctor, the chiropractor, is going to go, hey, is this a right fit for me? Do I like what I'm seeing? Is it getting the results that they said they would? Are my patients loving it? Is it easy to follow? And they're going to go, hey, listen, it's right for my practice, or it's not. The other thing that I think it's important to know, because you do have the website up there, there is a tab on the website. It says pricing on it. Because we only sell to chiropractors, we actually verify, like through the FCLB, that the person requesting information is a chiropractor. So we never release information about pricing or any of that or any of our products to anybody that is not a chiropractor. So basically, if they want more information, if they want to test ChiroThin in their practice, go to the website, click on the pricing tab, enter your information, We verify that you're a chiropractor. And then once we verify that you're actually a chiropractor, then we'll actually release the information to you. So we're that specific on, we are only with chiropractors. So.
Well, I don't know if this is one of your goals, but it's one of my goals with you. And I look to celebrate with you once we hit 1,000 ChiroThin clinics that are out there using your system. So if there are people out there that are on the fence that are thinking, how do I get the proper weight loss protocols into my practice over the next couple months, reach out to Dr. Jason or myself and go to chirothin.com and try it for yourselves, guys. Give yourself a chance to detox your body around the holiday season to where you can come into the new year and have a new marketing strategy to get new patients in to help break into a greater potential for getting into the cash style practice and helping more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about wellness. I mean, that's really what it's about. How can we get our patients, correct their subluxations, get them stable, and then help them maintain that level of correction for a lifetime? And honestly, when you look at the science that's out there, reducing adipose fits perfectly within that model. From a physical stress, from a inside out chemical stress, and from an emotional stress. I mean, we were talking earlier and you said, even just the weight that you've lost while you're doing the thing that you're doing right now, you feel better about yourself. That's a reduction in emotional stress. It's the thought side of things. How can it basically covers all three aspects. The only thing it doesn't do is detect and correct subluxation, and that's the job of chiropractic.
And I will tell everyone out there that when you do reduce a little bit of weight on your body, your knee starts feeling better, because I'm an avid hiker. And my knee was feeling a little crummy about 3 weeks ago. And as I've been going through this liver detox, my body started to respond, losing some weight. And now my knee does not give me the same issues it was 3 weeks ago. It might be because there's less inflammation in my body because I've reduced sugar out of my diet. But it's also reduced some of the weight on my body, taking some of the pressure off of that knee joint as well. So it is important to reduce the body weight, because the joints aren't designed to hold a heavy amount of extra weight that it just wears them down.
Right. And you do, Jim, you have that physical stress side of things. And, when you look from the chemical side, or the toxins, I always say, I think a lot of times chiropractors, when they think of chemical stress or toxins, they think of outside in, not necessarily inside out. Right. But when you start looking at the science and the peer-reviewed research that's done out there on what happens when you reduce fat levels, when you increase fat levels, you're producing higher amounts of, this is the science nerd in me, interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, which are pro-systemic inflammation signalers. They are what wind up producing. As you reduce adipose levels, you reduce those, but then you increase interleukin-10, and interleukin-10 is a cell signaler for anti-inflammation in the body. So yes, when you lose the weight, you have less physical stress being placed on your knee, but internally, systemically, you've reduced your systemic inflammation. So now when you look at that, basically just right there, you've already addressed, or you're helping improve 2 of the 3 legs of that triangle of health, or the 3 T's. It's just such a good fit. That's really what I want chiropractors to understand, is that what ChiroThin is it is not chiropractic. And it would be stupid to say that it is, to be really honest with you. But it is such a good fit. It's the term that you and I both love, is congruent. It is so congruent with the philosophy of chiropractic. To me, it should be a no-brainer for just about every chiropractor that's serious about helping their patients at a higher level.
Well, Jason, appreciate you spending some time with me today and talking to me about your passion behind ChiroThin and why it's helping so many people, not just the practices, but the people that are directly using the systems. And I know that there's thousands of people out there that have benefited from the ChiroThin program. So thank you for bringing something to the market 8 years ago that you had a vision on, that you thought would help yourself and more people. And it is, and it has. And thank you for supporting Chiro Hustle podcast.
The man.
And for those of you that don't know, we are the biggest. We have the biggest listenership on chiropractic podcasts right now.
Yes.
So thank you for your support, allowing us to keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession and keeping innate intelligence and subluxation-based conversations true to the chiropractic philosophy. I appreciate that opportunity to link up with you and to co-brand and to bring your message to more people.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a blessed rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you the next opportunity.
Absolutely. Let's stay in touch during both of our 42-day challenge, brother.
Awesome. We'll tag each other.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
All right. See you, Doc.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.